Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chalkedcast number 32, joined by our special guest today and a LAN debuter, Andy from Team Dignitas. And I think the best way to start this off is to just tell us how you feel, Andy. How did this weekend go for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, it's a nice feeling making your first LAN, especially after kind of grinding away for it for so long. It's really nice to finally kind of break through into that upper echelon of talent.
How long have you been
Landy.
on
I like
Dignitas
that.
again? Oh my goodness, Landy. How long have you been on Dignitas again? Is it just this season?
Dignitas has been this season, the RLCS 2022-23 season. So
Yeah.
I've been signed for about, I don't know, 6 months, something like that.
You had first split with Dries and Delta, right?
Yeah, correct.
And then you've picked up Evo for this split.
Yeah.
Now wait, I don't know how much you want to say about this, but was there a chance that was part of like the whole roster mania that almost happened but then
Yes.
didn't happen?
Yes.
How much do you want to say about it? Do you want
100%.
to tell us anything about that?
I will
Like,
just say that there were a lot of the dominoes that were falling all impacted us, and
Mhm.
that we picked up Evo last minute, basically, because our other option fell through and went somewhere else, slash stayed where they are.
stayed where they are, yeah.
I won't say which one, but
I think that has been speculated probably accurately on the show before, but yes, the whole like
Probably.
roster mania that nearly happened, you ended up with Evo. So that was how last minute was that, like that acquisition for this split?
Minutes, hours.
Hours
mean,
before like trade lock,
we had the most crazy offseason out of anybody.
Mhm.
It's not close. I mean, you might say like, oh, V1. Yeah, we had to wait for all that stuff to happen before we did it. So, I mean,
You're
yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
last domino.
we
effective,
were the last
almost.
one to fall, basically. And
Mhm.
I mean, it worked out pretty well for us, but at the time it was very, very stressful because it was a
So
lot of
how did you
it was
end
a
up
lot
on
of org
Evo?
stuff.
The last minute, few hours before a trade window, you're like your third no longer on the table. Delta's already found a new team at that point, I would imagine. Is that what's
Yes,
going on?
well, we let him know well in advance because we
Mhm.
wanted to make sure he could find somewhere. So
Yeah.
I believe we let him know a couple weeks before trade
Yeah,
window
he's
closed.
gone.
So
New player falls through. How did Evo end up on the team? How did that go? What happened there?
So we were set with like 4 different players throughout the trade window.
Uh-huh.
Not the trade window, but like the window between the major and the first regional. We tried out some other players from other regions, and they all worked pretty well. And we were trying to get visas situated, and a lot of those fell through. So and then the Rise domino started falling. So we picked up one of them, but then there was a bunch of org trouble, and yeah, so those dominoes fell, and at the end we were left with no options, with a couple hours left in the trade window. So we were we are hitting up pretty much everyone we could to kind of figure out who's available, and there was one option. It was Evo, and we tried him out earlier in the trade period, and it went pretty well. So I mean, we were pretty happy to take that option, and I mean, it worked pretty well for us. So we're pretty happy with how it turned out.
So you're trying to be as like cryptic as possible here, keep the org happy,
Yeah.
keep all of the
Yeah,
rumors behind
can't-
closed doors. Meanwhile, your
say
coach in
names.
chat is saying we wanted Brazilians. So like all of your
Oh,
hard work
well.
trying to keep this under wraps has been undone.
Nick,
By your
come
coach in
on,
chat
Nick, come on.
saying that he wants Brazilians.
If Nick feels like he can say it, I mean, yeah, it was multiple Brazilians. It was
Multiple
I believe,
Brazilians.
5.
Oh my
Five
god!
Brazilians.
Wait, hold on.
What's going on here?
We tried out 5 Brazilians, and there were other regions as well contacted, but nothing ever materialized.
Oh my goodness, the mass move from Brazil to USA, it's coming.
And you
everybody's
tried
interested.
out with five
Them.
different.
Four. One of them was their org stepped in and was like, no.
Wow, that's crazy.
But how do you try
Actually,
out a Brazilian player? Were they in Brazil when they're
we
trying
tried out 3, and yeah, we tried them out on 150 thing. So
Oh my
they,
god.
they all went pretty well. I mean,
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure they were still
They're-
just owning everybody. It doesn't matter.
I don't know what it is, but when South American players play on high ping, it's like it's not. It's like they're playing on A ping. There's no difference.
That's insane.
I'm just imagining you've got all 5 of them in the coin, like, but you're all in, you've made it. And then, like, wait, how many players can we have?
If Nick had his way, they'd all be on the team right now. I'm sure. He loves the
Wow.
Brazilians.
So when you say that you're on the bottom of the pile, I guess, were you sort of, you're looking up, you've got like V1, Optic, all the stuff happening, you're just trying to like catch whoever's
that's
falling through.
That's exactly what was happening, because our org wasn't sure that we wanted to take a punt on visas, because there was a chance that we wouldn't be able to play Regional 1 or Regional 2, just due to the fact that visas can take a while, and if they didn't have an eligible visa by the time we got into qualifying, then we wouldn't be able to play. We'd have to play with Boston, and he was playing the Super Bowl, so
So you've got the 5 Brazilians. You said, you potentially got other regions. You might have some EU boys as well. You've got some, the NA dominoes falling. Did Dig just say, get whoever you need, get whoever you want? Did you just have free reign?
Dig basically was Dig told Nick, he said, whoever that you're confident in getting, we're gonna support you. We're gonna give you the budget for. I mean, Dig had a pretty large budget in terms of talent that they wanted to get. Yeah, I mean, we could have made things work if we had more time. And the certain dominoes didn't happen to fall. So, I mean, yeah. Dig supported Nick pretty much all the way through that. That was pretty much his decision and his decision alone.
Yeah, you got Evo. How many, or you guys, did you scrim it all with him before you signed him, or was it just so late? You're like, we gotta sign him.
So we scrimmed once, probably 3 weeks before we made the decision to sign him. Well, I think we had one scrim.
Right,
only.
one scrim in 3 weeks ago. Then you're like, right, we're gonna go with that.
Yeah. So we basically signed him on no scrims. But yeah.
But overall, went pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, pretty
Immediately.
decent, I'd say. First regional, we got top 4, and I was like, man, I don't know about that. So,
Well, what were your expectations? I guess talking to other NA pros, or former top 5 teams. Sort of, people talk about you guys as sort of maybe 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess around that mark. Given how stacked the region is, obviously with Furia moving over Complexity as well. Like, what were your expectations? New lineup, you've scrimmed once. Like, what were your goals?
yeah.
This week?
So going into the second split, the winter split, our expectation was only to be making regionals, and we thought that we'd be around anywhere from, I don't know, 8 to like 13-ish, that area. But we didn't feel a ton of pressure to do more than that, because I mean, Dignitas knows the whole shenanigans that happened behind the scenes, and it made things kind of difficult for us. But hey, I mean, it ended up working out, so we surpassed our expectations.
Qualified. You had to qualify for the first event, if I'm not mistaken, which you did, 3-1. Then first event, you go 1-2 in groups, lost to Complexity, Gen G, and then you so you probably know you're not really on anyone's radar at that point. You lost to Cole and Gen G.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but
that was also before people knew that Complexity was as good as they were. Before the split, people rated Complexity relatively low. I'd say around 7, 8. I mean, they're legit. I mean, personally, they kind of own us. We've played them like 4 times and lost every single time or something like that. So I have a little bit of a bias towards them. They're all great guys too. But yeah, I mean, right now I think they're 3-4 interchangeably.
Yep.
So
then you beat
exactly where they are in the rankings.
You swept V1 that same event. Everyone's probably thinking, hold on a second here, Dignitas swept V1. But I do remember when that happened. V1 lost to you guys. Optic came last in their group, and we're all thinking, oh wow, like look at these teams who had to go with the players that they tried to bench. Now they're not doing too well. Do you think that impacted them at all? V1, it's easy to say in hindsight that it did, but V1 Optic, do you have any idea?
I think it affects Optic a lot more than it affects version 1. For reasons I can't really explain live. But
That's fine.
yeah, that's really all I'll say about it. There was a little bit more drama, I guess, on that end. Nothing too serious, but I mean, I think it clearly affected Optic a little bit more. I think V1, I honestly don't think they really struggled too much in that regional because of their kind of roster issues. I think that was more just they struggled to adapt to kind of a new playstyle. They tried switching things up a little bit and it didn't really work, I think. Just based on how we prepped for them and how they played in game, it seemed like they didn't quite get it, you know what I mean?
So you smash V1, and then you beat Space Station as well, and then you lose to Complexity. So you've lost to Complexity twice in Gen G. You've lost to the grand final teams. That's it. But I still feel like at this point, you know, I'm talking to Chrome, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like come on, we lost to Dig. Like, what are we doing? We played crap. We should have won that." You know, V1 are saying, "Oh, you know, first regional after everything that happened, whatever, lost to Dig," and you know, you've made a top 4, but. And you've only lost to the top 2 teams, but even myself and everyone's like, what, you know, good, have fun, you know, what a honeymoon, you know, first regional, you know, you won the right matches at the right times. Everyone's writing you guys off. Like, what were you guys thinking? Were you guys thinking we are a top 4 team, or we've just peaked, or like?
No. We were like, yeah, no, we're not going to expect this kind of result again. I mean, we've clearly shown that we have the capability to do so, but we always knew that, especially picking up Evo. He's got a really, really high ceiling, but it's about bringing that floor up. You know what I mean? But yeah, we weren't like, oh yeah, we're a top 4 team now. We still probably rated ourselves 8 to 12 in that range, if I had to guess. Nick would probably say otherwise because he's a big confidence guy, but I like to be a little bit more realistic. You know what I mean? So
did it get real in regional 2 though? Because yeah, you got a top 4. You got to be thinking, you know, okay, hold on a second here. You know, couple top 8s that could sneak us in. Which in fact you got in with a top 4. A top 12 and a top 8, like you can get in a top 4, 2 top 8s here. You're pretty much like odds-on favorites. So did it hit you guys at that point? Was that a discussion at all? It's like, hold on a second, we can make major.
Yeah, I think we struggled a lot in regional 2 because of that.
Because the pressure was real. You're like, wait a minute, this just got real. We can do this.
Also, I think we came into regional 2 a little bit too overconfident in the fact that we could potentially make a major, because none of us expected coming into the major, or coming into the regional, I should say, that we would be in contention for major at all. And then it kind of hit us that after we got the top 4, that it was really possible. And I think we all got a little bit hasty with our kind of mentality in the fact that, oh, we can actually make it now. I guess we kind of let that get to our head a little bit, because we struggled really hard in the quals even to get in that regional.
That's what I was going to like. So, you know, I've got my microscope.
That was our worst day ever. We were so bad that day.
You know, you make your top 4, and we're sort of, everyone's looking at this new Dig lineup, right? Are they the real deal? You look at it on paper, you've only lost to the top 2 teams. So then you watch the next closed qual. You guys get 7th out of the closed qual, so you're technically 15th in the region on seeding wise. You lose to Nobodies and Boulevard, with the greatest respect, probably.
Oh, that's harsh. How could you call them nobodies?
That's what they call themselves.
And that was easily our worst day.
So yeah, you go all the way to 5 in Swiss, and I guess that, you know, it makes sense. You guys, if you're thinking about the major, so that can massively affect your performance.
I also think we slacked off a little bit. We got a little too. I don't know. We kind of felt like, oh yeah, no, we deserve to be in the regional anyway. We don't really have to take things seriously for quals, and then it kind of bit us in the butt. So because we were hairs away from not qualifying, honestly. Even though I believe we 3-0'd the last series against Axel. I mean, we had a lot of struggles mentally with that whole day. It was just not the greatest headspace any of us were in.
And then so overall you went 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses in regional 2. You beat Optic. I think everybody would just put that down to Optic.
Good group.
being
Really
shocked.
good group.
Yeah, everybody was like, yeah, this is the Mickey win. So Optic are shocked,
Yeah,
and Koi
yeah.
is a fish. So Dignitas two wins. But
Shout out Koi.
yeah,
we've like no disrespect to Koi, but we've kind of been lucky to get in their bracket.
You just
Pretty
get a
much
nice
every
little
regional.
one in the
I mean,
win
like,
column.
I believe we reverse swept them. Did we? I don't know. We've played them so many times that they all.
yeah,
kinda
you
played
reverse swept
together,
them in
but
Regional 1.
Regional
and then
1, yeah.
Regional
yeah.
2, they won the first game. You won 3 in a row.
Okay, yeah, and then that.
Regional 3, they won game 3 overtime. You beat them 3-1 again. So you've had Koi 3 times and beaten them all time. They're a nice little one in the win column.
Yeah, Koi
first
is they're a very strange team to play. All I gotta say, they have a lot of flashes of brilliance, and then the rest is kind of up to chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a reason why they got top 8 in Regional 2. I think was it where they just
Yes. They beat
beat
V1.
version 1 and someone else. I mean,
Reverse swept
Yeah,
V1
I mean-
actually. V1, get this. V1 took game 2 of that series to go 2-0 up in the series.
yeah.
7-0. And then Koi were like, okay guys, let's turn on the monitors and reverse sweep these idiots. They've
Nah,
gone to
yeah.
beat in a 7-0 in game 2. We can't have
Koi
that.
are more dangerous than people give them credit for, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't call them an amazing team or anything, but they're dangerous. You still have to take them seriously because they can pop off randomly almost. So
Speaking of dangerous teams, you then played Knights and got swept by them in the 9-12.
2-1,
So what
2-1,
happened there?
2-1. A nice little scoregami there. We
Yeah.
got a triple 2-1. I mean, what's going on in Regional 2?
I'm
Where
gonna
the
be
head's at?
honest. Yeah, we kind of looked past that series. We kind of overlooked the Knights. We were kind of thinking about our next match anyway. We kind of assumed we were gonna win, and that I mean, a lot of our issues this split have come to overconfidence and not putting in the work that the confidence would require. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, we struggled because we didn't necessarily respect them enough, and they're a great team. We should. But yeah, I mean, our mentality as a team was that, it's just, we should be beating them anyway, so we don't really need to think about it too much. And I think that's what cost us a little bit against them.
Because you sort of said like the top 4, you were still being realistic 8-12, but I feel like everything else in terms of the team mindset sort of seems like you're a top 4 team now, and we should be rolling through these absolute scrubs.
I will say there is a difference between teammates where I've got a little bit of a different mentality than Evo and Drees on that matter. So
what you're saying is that you are humble. Evo and Drees have egos.
not quite, but pretty much.
But
In your own
slightly,
word.
like,
yeah.
The thing with especially Drees, and I mean Evo's inexperienced. He doesn't really know how everything works completely yet. It's completely understandable. He's a young kid. He's 15. Drees the same thing. He's 16, but he started at the top, and it's really especially hard for him. Like technically every team he's joined since has been a downgrade, and it kind of feels like he still assumes he's like at the top, and I mean he's
Like
back
he still
again
look at
now,
himself
but-
as a top player because of
yeah,
the success that
he
he had.
has
It makes
quality. He
sense.
has quality. I'm not saying he's not quality. The situations are different now. It's back then he was expected to win regionals, and now we're expected to finish like 9th. So it's a bit of a change for him.
No, it's perfectly understandable. So obviously you get the bit of a wake up call. You get swept by Knights. Now you've got a couple of weeks until the big one, the next regional where everything's on the line. The invitational, you don't have to qualify anymore. How do you prepare yourself to try and, one last crack at making the major? You're still 5th in points at this point as well.
Yeah. I mean, we put in a lot of work. We probably put in more work than we have for the other 2 regionals combined. We scrimmed more, we practiced more, we did replays more, we thought about the game more. I mean, we all got our hours up at least a little bit. Except Drees. Shout out Drees.
Wait, what does that mean? What's Drees up to?
He was on a little bit low hours, but
I saw him sleeping
what
in a
was he
photo,
playing?
no, there's a video of Drees sleeping at the boot camp. What's going on?
to
He's just, like, in
Drees'
the chair.
credit, he's a very good on low hours. I don't require that much out of Drees in terms of the hours department because he is crazy good on low hours for whatever reason.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he was on 30 or so heading into the regional
What?
3, and he.
Wait,
I thought
what?
he was-
You're saying you guys put more work in and Jerusalem 30 hours past 2?
Okay, we did all the other work. You know what I mean?
What is he like thinking about Rocket League in the shower? Like, where are the other hours? Like, what's going on?
He's,
I'm
he's
not gonna complain. He
simulating games in his head just to get the practice.
I'm not gonna
like,
complain. He played the best on the team in my eyes, so I'm not gonna complain about it at all. So.
But 30 hours. So like, how much did you guys scrim? Just so we can gauge like what are the extra hours that are going in here. Because like, if you guys are scrimming,
there's a lot of Tarkov. All I gotta say.
are you guys scrimming in that 2-week period? Like
we
5 days
did.
a week? How many days a week are you scrimming there?
Oh, we scrim 5 days a week.
2 scrims a day.
3 scrims 3 days of the week, and 2 scrims 2 days of the week. And then we did.
So what's that
replays.
total? We're talking
Well,
9
Nick said the
scrims,
30
3
was
days.
just the last week, not the week before. So I didn't touch the game the week after the regional and then went hard leading up to it.
Wait,
would
so you
be
had scrims for
surprised.
1 week, not even the week
No,
before,
no.
just one?
No, we scrimmed both weeks.
So yeah, it's a 3 days of 3 hours of scrims. That's 9 hours total. 2 days of 2 hours of scrims. 4 is 13 hours.
To his
2
credit,
weeks,
when we
26
got to
hours
boot
of
camp, he
scrims.
brought.
He did 4 extra hours, Therese.
Warm
Or-
up, free play.
wait, so-
Stop the
Hey,
scrims.
so you
hey,
4
guys-
hours.
To his credit, when we got into boot camp, he grinded. But when it was out of boot camp, there was some Tarkov being played.
Well, that is like
it can't go
incredible.
wrong with Tarkov. But wait, so
Like,
you said you went
SSG just
to.
lost to Dries in Tarkov. Like he's in Tarkov and he wins. This is incredible. The disrespect is unreal.
You
This is
said that
unprecedented.
you guys boot camped. Was that only for this last invitational, or for the last? Yeah, for the invitational.
It was for regional 3. We boot camped from Monday to Sunday.
Now, was that like your first boot camp with Dig, or have you done some before?
With Dignitas, yeah. It was kind of strange for me because it was in the same facility that was rented out when I was playing with Sonics. So
Oh wait, what?
yeah, I boot camped in the same location twice on different teams.
That's pretty
Wow.
interesting. How was
They
the
both have spaces
experience?
in Philly? It was good. It was nice to kind of all be in one place and get to know each other a little better. Yeah, I mean, I thought we all played pretty much normal on boot camp. Usually the mechanics are usually a little bit less when you're on some sort of LAN environment. And honestly, I
Yep.
think it'll help us coming into the major because we're a little bit more used to that environment. Yeah, I mean, I think also Dries moving over from West Ping helped a little bit, which is probably why
that's
he
huge.
played the best, I thought, too, because I mean, he went from having 90 ping in RLCS servers to having 20. It's definitely a bit of a jump.
Well, yeah, it has to be, the boot camp has to be a massive factor for you guys. I mean, you only have to look at Europe. You got KC, Vitality, Liquid, who are constantly boot camping or playing their regionals in the same facility. Is how much do you like weigh that up? And is it more that you're playing together, or as you said, you're sort of like building the trust and the friend, like bonding a little bit more?
I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. Honestly, I think the best part about that is that when we were at boot camp, there was not a lot of other distractions, and it was just Rocket League. We grinded out Rocket League, and we really focused on the regional because we knew we could make the major with it, and we didn't want to give away that chance. You know what I mean? We didn't know if we'd ever have that situation again where we could make a major with the top 8. You know what I mean? So we made sure we took advantage of it.
Well,
So
you're
then
kind
we're
of in a
in-
good spot with like groups because going into the last
Yeah,
regional, we talked about this a little bit. Where
Koi again, tick.
yeah, you got
one in the
Koi
column.
again,
Shout out
one win against Koi. We're through to the first round, and to make it even better, because Ghosts were able to game 5 Furia,
Oh
that
my
put Space
gosh.
Station second. So
We
you
would've
would have
been
been watching that.
screwed. We
Were
didn't.
you
We didn't
watching?
watch that. No. We
You
were
didn't?
done. We were. I believe. I don't know if we were playing or.
You might have been. I
I'm
mean,
not
all the games
completely
started at the
sure.
same time, but yours was a 4-game series. You lost to Gen G. Furia Ghost went
no,
to game 5,
we-
so I think that was finished after
We
you.
wasn't playing. We weren't paying any attention to it. I think Nick was, but he didn't obviously say anything because he doesn't want to distract us.
But you wanted Space Station because out
Oh,
of
of
all the
course.
teams, I mean, I thought Space Station were the favorites to get that 5th spot. Because out of all the teams
Yeah.
in that mix, you know, M80, you guys, Space Station, Furia, NRG. Space Station's consistency has been pretty good. They've obviously had a really good peak last year. Very talented team. But you're saying to us that you wanted to. You're telling us before the show you were hoping that you'd get them
Yeah,
in round
yeah.
1. So do you want to explain that? Why did you want Space Station? Apart
So
from the fact
we-
that you beat them in Regional 1 as well. So you know,
So
you've
yeah,
got a record against them.
especially Space Station and Furia, we wanted to play because there were also teams in major contention alongside us. We wanted to play them as early as possible in the bracket so that basically our fate would be in our own hands and we could knock them out while advancing ourselves. Especially Space Station because we were very, very close in points. I believe we had one more point than
1
them.
point.
Correct me if
1
I'm wrong.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So we needed to finish the same or better, or we basically need to finish in the same spot as Space Station. And we thought that if Space Station got a first round bracket match that was not us, that they would surely get top 8 and have a pretty favorable match going into top 4. So we said, we sat down and we're like, if we can play Space Station, that puts us in a good spot because if we beat them, our major chances skyrocket. And
Right.
because the teams behind us were much farther behind us compared to Space Station. I mean, I think M80 was
M80 was 1 point behind as well. The Space Station and
Oh, were
M80
they?
were 1, and then Furia, NRG, and I can't remember who else
Yeah,
were
they
like
were a couple
4 points
points
back.
more.
So they
Yeah.
they'd need to get 1 round ahead of you just to tie you. So yeah, they were the big ones to beat, M80
Yeah.
and Space Station. But how about that matchup though? Because Space Station are obviously a very good team. You know, they have a good record this season against even top tier teams. Going very well in Swiss, usually doing well in groups. So what do you think about that matchup for you guys? Because you know, I love that you've beaten them. Because if Space Station had lost to another top team and you guys got a easier run into the top 8, everybody would be saying undeserved. Space Station
Mickey
would
run.
have won that Mickey run.
Yeah.
You guys literally beat Space Station, so no one can
Yeah,
say
I
that.
mean,
No one
we-
can
we-
say it's a Mickey run. But
Yeah,
how's the
we
matchup for
beat,
you? What are you
we
thinking?
beat both the contenders for it. We beat all of the contenders. Actually, we beat Optic, we beat V1, and we beat Space Station all in the same split, and they never beat us. So I think
Yeah.
that's. But yeah, I think we match up very well tactically against Space Station. Our game plan going into them, I feel, doesn't leave much up to chance. Honestly,
Would you say that you've maybe figured them out, as a lot of people like to say
Yeah.
these days?
I 100% say that. I think Nick did a great job with prep against that team, and we knew exactly how we want to play, and how we want to play against Space Station is our best style of play. I'm not going to give it away, obviously.
So they just
but
kind of like play right into you, is what you're saying? Like you guys are like this.
the play
is
style
perfect.
the play style that works against Space Station is exactly how we want to play anyway,
Mhm.
and it's our best form of Rocket League in my opinion.
I want to go back to the potential match fixing that you're alleging that's going on here. So, firstly, if I'm you guys, I want a Mickey run. Like, you only need to finish, as you said, the same or better. So, I want the easiest run possible. I want to cruise in the top 8 and then hopefully Space Station don't get top 4. Maybe we get top 4. I admire that you guys want to play Space Station. Secondly, now I'm looking at the group. I'm thinking, how did you guys lose to Mr. Spotify Rebellion?
They're a good team.
And no, let's say this. You've
Hey,
beaten
don't-
Koi. No, listen to this. You've beaten Koi in the first, got your win, tick. Round 2, Gen G versus Koi. Now, at this point, you're thinking if Gen G beat Koi, then they can only go 1 win at best, which means you guys win the head-to-head matchup. So
we
you
knew
guarantee
we were
through.
We knew we were through.
Exactly. So then you guys go 2-1 up against Spotify Rebellion and
Yeah.
think, hang on a minute,
Don't do
this is going a little bit too well. And then in game 4 and 5, you guys don't score a single goal. So it seems to me
Yeah,
that you
you're
guys
right.
might
We
have
just,
thought about it and got the Space Station
Yeah,
matchup.
Yeah, you're right. We should have known that Ghost was gonna beat Furia. Yeah, you're right.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
conspiracies.
No, we knew that Ghost was gonna beat Furia in game 5, so that
Mhm.
Space Station would be second in the group instead of first. So we wanted to play
Mhm.
Space Station. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We
You sniped
we-
them because Space Station
we
would have
crystal
been
balled
third. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Space Station would have been third if Furia beat Ghost, right? The 3-way tie.
no, they would have been first. G2 would have been second.
G2 would have been second. Wait, so if Furia beat Ghost, Space Station would have been second. Is that what you're saying?
Space Station would have been first if Furia beat
Space
Ghost,
Station would have been first.
and we would have been playing G2 in the first round instead of Space Station.
Right, you played GT.
So-
Okay, that
so
would not be good. Yeah. that would be-
Ghost did a little bit of solid for us.
Mhm.
Shout out Money Expert and Hoxer.
No, but how does that work though? Because G2 swept SSG. I don't know if Rizzo wants to pull up or can. Do we have the production quality here to pull up the?
Oh yeah, just
bracket.
give me a screenshot and production
There's
can get that up there.
Oh, a screenshot. Let me send a screenshot over to you of Group C. It's coming your way. Very
it's
high
a
speed
three-way
production
head to head to head to head to head to
It's-
head. So
Yeah, it would have been a three-way tie, which Space Station they got +1 over Furia
G1
and -3
-3.
against G2, so they're -2.
Actually, yeah, I don't know
Furia is
exactly how.
+2 over G2, -1 over SSG. That's a +1. And then G2's -2 against Furia, +3 on
I
G2.
just
That's
saw-
also
I saw
a
the
+1.
I just saw the
Surely
direct
that's
tweet.
third. Surely SSG's third there. Gotta say it. Surely.
I just saw the direct tweet. All I'm gonna say. They
Wait, direct to well,
direct
that
tweeted
settles
about it.
Sure,
Direct
Space
tweeted
Station
it.
would have been third if Furia won.
Oh, okay.
Furia
So,
would have won the
but
group.
I just know we would have played G2. And I don't want to play G2. So
So that's the thing, because people were saying that Space Station would have been third, but then the bit that surprised me is apparently G2 would have been second, because the tiebreak was reset or something,
So
which
Furia
I
would have
didn't
won
know
the
because
group,
G2
which
had
would
the
have been
better
good.
game diff overall. I thought that just clearly put them number one. But if this comes up at major, there's going to be like major drama, no pun intended, because. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean-
it'll look rigged. It will look rigged on the graphic. It just
No,
will.
yeah, Ghost winning that against Furia was huge for us because it meant that
Mhm.
one Furia were out of the major contention because they were out of the tournament,
Mhm.
and it put us against Space Station instead of G2. So
It's a massive for you guys. You won it, and now no one can say that it was a Mickey run because you literally beat the favorite for 5th spot. I think.
Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. So
By the
let's get back to the top. So you beat Space Station, you get the huge win. You've done it, but you haven't done it at the same time
quite,
because there's
yeah.
there's a couple
Yeah.
of beasts down in the bottom, which
Oh,
is
man.
Optic
Yeah.
and V1 trying to play upset. You guys get clean swept. We're still close, couple of OTs against Complexity, but
They're
again,
just- they
Complexity
own us.
just beat you again 3 times this split, maybe more. I think it's 3.
feels like
And obviously, so G2 beat V1 in 7. So you're thinking, beautiful. That's what
Well,
we
that was
need.
huge
Oh,
for you
we-
because
we-
if
we
V1
were
Yeah,
watching
no,
that live.
talk to us like how you were
Oh my
feeling during the
God.
V1 series because I was losing my mind. I wasn't even a part of anything.
I was losing my mind. That's exactly how it was.
Yeah, I wanted them to win for the drama. I'm not gonna lie. Andy.
yeah, I did too.
I was like, I want the
to be real
drama.
close.
So
yeah,
wait, if they win, is it a tiebreaker? Is that
Okay,
is that
No,
what-
so-
it
no,
was.
so
it
what
was they
happened?
needed to make final, right? I think that's what it was for
So,
V1.
so what the scenario was, it's ingrained in my head because I've heard it so many times. If V1 won that game against G2, they
Yeah.
would have been top 4, and they would have played the winner of Shopify/Optic, which came out
Yeah.
to be Optic. And if they won that match, they were in the major.
Yeah,
no
they were in the
matter what.
major.
Unless we beat
Assuming you guys
Complexity,
lost as well,
which we,
like
which we did,
you guys,
but
you guys needed to lose, but that happened later. So if V1
Yeah.
beat G2, there would have been way
We
more
would have had
pressure
to
on you
win.
guys to beat
Yeah.
Complexity later in the day because you guys would have known like, oh, V1 probably making the final over at Optic or Shopify. Probably.
Yeah,
They're
so
the favorites there.
we-
So you
we
guys
were-
have
we
to
were-
beat Complexity. But now you
Yeah.
don't because G2 beat them.
we were looking at that G2 match and we're like, this is it. This is our major. If they win, we're in the major. If they lose, we're out of the major. That's basically how we were looking at it.
The G2 saved Dignitas and then Optic beat
They saved
Shopify.
us
the
again.
winner.
G2 saved us again later by beating Optic, even though it's
Oh my
it's
goodness, yeah,
a bit of an
G2 really
expected
helped you.
result. But yeah, shout out G2.
Yeah, because
Boys.
Optic could have still
Nick-
ruined your day when you
yeah.
guys lost. Optic could have won the event and qualified ahead of you, but that was just not happening. It's just no way that's ever happening.
Nick
in their
agreed
current
to
form.
buy Sathu dinner if G2 won against V1. So I guess we'll see that in San Diego.
So
Oh,
what were
you-
you
you've
thinking
done it.
with Optic then? Obviously V1, you're nervous, but then this Optic gaming, you're seeing on Twitter, you're seeing on Reddit, this movement of like surely not, and
I'm
at
gonna
this
be
point,
honest.
Brick by brick.
I was terrified. I was terrified, but I should not have been terrified. I mean, Optic are they looked good for sure. Especially AJ. I mean, AJ was different animal all weekend, but yeah. I mean, rationally, I knew they would not win the regional because even if they somehow pulled off a miracle against G2, they have to beat FaZe or Complexity, and I just don't think that's realistic. But irrationally, I was having a bad time. I'll just say that. A lot of sleep lost.
Yeah, because you had to wait till the next day. You guys lose the complexity. You got to actually go to bed, wake up, and
Yep.
then watch G2 versus Optic.
Yep.
That's
Also,
awful.
funny
That's
thing,
awful.
during the G2 and Optic series, I was on the plane flying home from boot camp, so I didn't know what
did you
the
have
result
Wi-Fi?
was. I had plane Wi-Fi. Plane Wi-Fi is not good enough to stream. I was
Yeah, you can't
refreshing
stream that.
Twitter, refreshing Twitter by the second.
I love that you're
Literally
refreshing
with the-
Twitter, not the bracket, just Twitter. Refresh.
Yeah, no,
refresh.
because it's probably the most real time you're gonna get. So I was basically refreshing the G2 and Optic like hashtags for Rocket League and
Oh wow.
hoping. So the lady next to me on the plane was probably very confused.
How much did the plane Wi-Fi cost?
I
What
was
was
so like, oh, I think it was $17. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, wasn't too
Wasn't
bad.
too bad.
That's a
Dignitas,
scam.
yeah,
That's a
Dignitas'
scam.
contract
How far
must
was
be
your flight?
nice.
You better
I
be
mean-
getting that tax deducted. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can write it off as a work expense. I'm pretty sure.
Put that in the next invoice.
Yeah.
Travel
So
expense.
you find out you've made it one way or another through refreshing Twitter. Once you get to talk to the boys for the first time? What's the emotions? What's the feeling like amongst the team?
Yeah, I mean, we're just excited to compete at the major. I mean, Dree is especially super excited because that's pretty much his hometown. I mean, he lives very, very close to LA, and basically the drive to San Diego is like an hour or so. So he's right at home. I think he got a little bit homesick at boot camp just because he was so far away from home, and he's really excited, especially to be in a place that's warm, nice, sunny, comfortable for him. So yeah, we're all excited.
And what's
you have another
the
boot camp before?
Yeah, we'll boot camp in LA at the Dignitas facilities about a week before and prepare for the major.
major groups are locked in now? So you got K Corp, Vitality, Falcons. You have an incredibly hard group if I'm looking at it right now. Having said that, Falcons are still a question mark
It's
for
not the
mine in
easiest.
terms of.
They
In
might
terms of
lose
how they
to
go.
Falcons. Might lose to the U.S. Embassy before they even get there. So like you're gonna be rooting for the U.S.
We'll
Embassy.
see.
to
We'll
come
see.
out.
Best
Again.
embassy.
No,
They've got a
just like
best of
last
one to
season.
play before they get
Yeah,
through.
they've got a
Yeah.
best of one the U.S. Embassy the interview. I don't know how that's gonna go. But also I
Yeah,
heard
we're not thinking
I
of that. So.
I heard they're playing a Saudi LAN like 3 days before Winter Major starts. So they're apparently
That's
going to be
not allowed.
finishing a LAN.
I mean,
No, they're playing a LAN and then they're flying out on like the day
it's
before.
media days, like a few
media
days
day.
before.
Well, yeah, it's 2 days. For 2 days before
Yeah.
LAN, the 2 days before LAN or media day, they're
But
flying
that's
out I
not
think,
a
3
short
days before.
flight.
Well, the good
That's-
news is, even though it's not a short flight, you do fly with the day, so you don't lose a day when you're
Yeah.
flying to
Oh,
the,
you're
to the
right.
west.
Yeah, I guess.
You kind of
yeah.
just like you're waiting
I-
for the
I
sun
was-
to
I
set.
was
You're looking at the
thinking-
window, like, "Yep, sun's still setting. It's still going. Hasn't
think
really
it-
made any progress."
In my mind,
So
it was the other way
they're going to
around,
be
so-
fine as long as there's no travel delays. But there could be. I mean, if they have like a whole day travel delay, which is possible for like
Yeah.
that many flights,
They're
that
gonna
many time
miss a lot of
zones.
scrims, man. Yeah, that could
Mhm.
be rough.
That was the
Well, I
same
mean,
as
their
last
prep's
season,
going to be
though, they were
good. They're
gonna do it.
playing. They're playing a literal LAN in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, fair
against
enough.
all Saudi's best teams.
But
So, like in
it's-
that regard,
yeah.
it's good prep. But
It's
You know, the traveling that
world's
soon
way
before the
different,
event.
though.
yeah,
It's also going to be different. They're going to be on different setups, different everything. They're gonna
mhm.
different environment. Yeah, I mean that could be a difficult adjustment for them, but I mean they're probably used to it by the amount of lands they've been to already. So I'm not.
it's going to be tough. I mean,
That's not
it's
something
a long
we're
way.
gonna prepare for. I mean that's out of our
It's a
control.
long way.
So,
It's a long way to go. I mean, that's a long, long way. Like from Saudi Arabia to reach Heathrow or like any of the other big airports in Europe is like 6 hours from Riyadh. Plus, like,
Yeah.
getting to the Riyadh airport in Saudi Arabia in the first place. Then, like, what is it, 11 hours from Heathrow to San Diego or something? So, like, total, even if they get
it's
just
like
2
16
flights,
hours
it's
at
like
minimum,
17 in
usually.
the air plus layovers. Yeah, they're going to be traveling for a whole day. That's like,
Yeah.
it's far. Potentially more. If,
And that's
if they don't
it's
have
taxing
active
too.
flights.
I mean,
I reckon it's longer. They're like
Yeah.
they're like directly opposite, like West Coast America. Surely
They are,
I
yeah,
feel like they
as-
could
as far
go
as
either
they go.
way. They could go right or left.
Let's
They-
check it. Let's see. Let's pick up Google Flights real quick and see if we're going Riyadh to San Diego. Where do you go? I mean, where do you even start there? What's the dates of the LAN again? It's like April. They need to fly on the Monday, right? 3rd or something like that.
Sounds
How
about
many
right to me.
stops can we limit this? Oof. Okay, it's not looking good. No non-stop flights, obviously. 1 stop or fewer, none matching the dates. Okay. Oh,
They
these
can't
are
even get
these
there.
are some expensive flights. I hope they've already booked this because these
They probably
layovers are a
haven't.
nightmare.
Oh
Oh my
my Kami
goodness!
got booked first
They
class.
won't be booked.
You know the worst thing as well. I forgot about this, but when you're flying out of Saudi Arabia, I don't know why this is. Maybe someone in chat can tell me. But
You gotta
all
go
the
to
flights
Doha.
leaving Saudi leave at like 1 in the morning. They all leave
Oh,
so
that's-
early.
It's because it's too
That's
hot,
great.
isn't it? They have to.
Yeah,
they
it's the
can't take off during the
temperature.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, is it something to do with the
Really?
temperature? So they
That's
leave
really
at like
interesting.
they leave at like 12 at night / 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and that's really bad because when you fly to like somewhere like Heathrow on your way to San Diego, you need to wait like 6 hours layover, 8 hours layover or something. So their layovers are going to be terrible.
Oh my
Really
god.
bad. Really bad. Just as an example, there's a 26-hour, 30-minute transit through Heathrow, a nice 8-hour, 10-minute layover in Heathrow.
Oh man.
Right now, that flight's going for the low cost of £4,800 economy. So if
Oh
they need some
my.
last-minute tickets,
Yeah,
not a problem.
Psionics is shaking right now.
Oh
It's,
man, that's all.
It's
But
a
like,
lot of money.
they couldn't even buy those because they weren't confirmed until this weekend, were they?
no,
weren't-
yeah, they're not. Those
Oh,
tickets are
no.
not bought. I can guarantee you.
Well, they might have bought them by now. Like, maybe they were on it. Like, as
maybe in
soon
a
as
few
Falcons are
days,
qualified,
but-
flights.
No, they had the flex
buy.
tickets. They can refund. They booked every single MENA team early, and then cancelled the
I
other
wouldn't.
one.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Oh
honestly,
my.
but yeah,
That's
I mean,
insane.
like
That's so expensive.
Our tickets aren't booked. I don't think so.
That's
I
so
don't know.
expensive.
Anyway, so they get there or not? Let's hypothetically they get there. What's the goals for you guys? What would you be happy with? If I'm in your shoes, getting out of the group, I'd just go tick happy with
Yeah.
that major.
getting out of the
Is it
group,
any
yeah.
better?
That's
Step
our
one.
goal. Our goal is to get as many points for NA5 as we can. Realistically,
Oh, NA, you don't have to be NA5. I mean, if there's another NA team chokes, you guys could become NA4 or NA3
I
even,
guess, but
you never know.
right now we hold NA5, so I'll be thinking about that in terms of the seeding. Yeah, I mean, our expectations aren't crazy high coming into the major. We weren't expected to be there in the first place. We're gonna go out there, have fun, look to kind of shock some of the teams. Realistically, in that group, I think it's realistic to assume we could get last or we could go through. I think there's definitely a good possibility that we can get third or second in that group.
Yeah,
First,
100%.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, first is
Uh,
very difficult, but Carmine Corp do kind of have a track record of
They
throwing
do.
at least
They
one
do.
group stage game. Like they just randomly get reverse swept by Solary every now and then.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
never
no,
know. They have a little
I
bit of a
watched that
key corp.
game. That was confusing. So
Yeah.
you never know. Truthfully, you never really know.
Yeah, and Vitality's a massive question mark as well.
Yeah.
I'm
they're
not
huge.
I'm not sure what to expect with Vitality at all because they've looked very shaky at times. Sometimes
Honestly-
they've looked really good. Sometimes they look very
honestly-
shaky. I don't know.
Yeah, Vitality and Falcons are the main matches we're going to be looking at. I think they're both very winnable because both teams
Mhm.
are question marks right now. I mean, Vitality also has all the drama between the roster. They don't know who's going to get replaced for Zen, or if that's happening at all. Technically.
Well, I don't think we have to question that one. I would just say,
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably somebody
Well-
getting replaced there. I don't.
the thing is, it's different when you have the pressure of not knowing if you're going to have a team next season. So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, because even if you know you're like likely to get benched, then you have to put in a good performance to get
yeah.
the best team for your next team. Like
Exactly.
to get a good
It's
a good
difficult.
swan song.
And
I really
that
think
can
with those
change your play
guys, though,
style. You play like
like-
an individual. So
I feel like that team is just accepted. Like they're not going to be together forever, and they're just kind of every game's like one last hurrah. Like I feel like they're going the other way with it. They're just sort of enjoying the time with each other and just vibing until the inevitable. Like they know the world's going to end, so they're just having the most fun until it happens.
There's
Although
no way that's the case.
it's the major though. You can't really think like that at a major. It's even if you say it and say it and say it subconsciously, you're always going to be like, this is important. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
in Falcons, I think they're a little bit of a question mark as well. I mean, they've obviously done very well internationally recently. However, they have looked very shaky recently in terms of just watching their series against some of the MENA teams. They look like a different team than we've seen at previous majors and at Worlds.
Do you watch a lot of their series versus like Rule 1?
Not many. I've watched Rule 1. I watched the most recent Rule 1 series against them. I also watched them against I believe it was the Sonics' team that they played. I don't know the team name, but I don't follow it super closely, but I have watched a few of their games, and they look threatening sometimes and not threatening other times. So it's up in the air, honestly.
I'm excited for it. So
Yeah.
these groups are confirmed, we've been told.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the, looking at all the groups as a whole? We've got your groups very stacked. It's okay. This is my take on groups. I feel like weighing up the strength of groups. Every team's main objective is just to not lose. That's the main objective of groups. Is don't lose
that's always,
the group.
That's always groups. I mean,
yeah,
make it out and then roll the dice. Is
well, see,
usually
like
how it
last
works.
season, the objective was win because you get upper semi-finals compared to lower round one.
Yeah, it doesn't
like your
matter as
second,
much
third.
now. I mean,
This is just like one extra round, so not
Yeah,
losing the group is
it's
by
really not
far
bad.
the biggest thing to do, and then winning is a bonus, but you're gonna get one round extra, so it's like big deal in a way. Not losing your group is pretty tough. Yeah, that's 4 very good teams, and then looking at the other groups, in Group C, a lot of people want to talk about Group C because Team Secret are in there. Can they repeat their fall major performance? Team Liquid are in there. They're very good team. Then you got Ground Zero, new roster from OCE, and Gaming Gladiators, who upset Elevate from APAC to get in there as well. So that's like the group of life. But
That's all
CJ,
too.
what's happening with Ground Zero Gaming from OCE? Because they're the OCE 1 seed, right?
Yes, they certainly are. What do you want from me? Do you want to talk about the
They
major or the
won 2
regionals?
events. Well, yeah. So what is this team going to do in this group, for example? Like, what are a lot of people are looking at these groups like, oh, that's a Mickey group. That's Group C's like Group of Life. Do you think it
Absolutely.
is, or do you think it isn't?
Absolutely. I would
Absolutely think it
love
is?
that group. We were talking about it yesterday. We did like a OCE power ranking stream with Yummy and stuff. And yeah, I think that this is, if I'm Ground Zero, I am frothing at the mouth for this group. It is a fantastic. They could come first or second or third. I think realistically, if they lose to Gladiators, blow up the region. With the greatest respect to APAC. But
With the greatest
I don't think they're
respect.
coming. I don't think they're coming fourth. Having said that, this is it's a first land for 2 of the players. Like, this isn't a seasoned team. This isn't a Team Power or something, or a Renegades that are going over for their 85th LAN. So they could also play terribly, but they're veteran players at the same time. They've been around for a while and they have played other LANs, Kaka and Fiber, and they look very good. So I think you see what Power did. They nearly beat Liquid at the Rotterdam Major. It went all the way. They nearly reverse swept them. So if Power can do it, this Ground Zero lineup's playing just as well, if not better than that team last split. So
Are they more mechie than Power? Is this a new mechanical team? Because they've got super lucky.
It's
proven.
hard.
What about
Probably.
Kaka and Fiber?
Probably in just of how you're more likely to see them, I guess, in terms of like mechanical ceiling. Yeah, probably. Fiber's one of the most mechanical players. Like, he chain dashes like no one I've ever seen. But if you're going to see triple flip resets, that team's probably going to be the one that's pulling it out. Pioneers are great as well. But in terms of a 3-man all mechie, yeah, they're probably got them, because I'd say for Power, Torsos isn't as mechanical as Amphis or Fever anymore. So I think, 3-man mech, they've got it. I think they can win the group. Liquid is inconsistent. Secret, there's still a question mark. Well, there's not a question mark on them, but are they a top 4 major team again? We'll have to find out. They could, but I'd say third is where I'd put them. But I would not be surprised to see them higher than that. I'll be surprised to see them lower than that.
Did OCE play Sam and Fall Major Rotterdam?
Yeah, but that was the Pioneers lineup that was already blown up. So I don't know how much.
Okay, yeah, it was Pioneers who were like beyond shocked. They were incredibly
it's...
shocked. But now they're back. So they've grabbed a mechanical wonder kid, kind of taking the Dignitas route here, picking up Evo. That's what Pioneers and OCE have done. but they're in a much tougher group. They got Gen G, Oxygen, and Complexity. What do they have any chance there? Do you think they have any
I think
chance?
no. I think that I'm not saying they're going to play bad, but I can see this this group they're in, as you said, Complexity, Oxygen, Gen G. I can see this Pioneers lineup doing what they did last season in winter, where they had the Space Station group. And, they could take some of these teams to 5, and everyone's going to be like, wow, they actually look great. They look incredible. But I can see them just like not getting the wins. You know what I mean? Like if you watch the series, you'll be going, wow, this team's actually fantastic. They're going to be good, for the next major and worlds. But if you just look at the scoreline, they might finish 0-3 in the group. So they haven't won, but they will play better than, they're not going to get flogged.
Okay.
They'll be pretty competitive.
Yeah, it's stacked. We've also got the Gen G Oxygen rematch. I was actually I was talking to Jack while FaZe were playing that grand final to decide what group Gen G would be in. If FaZe lost the grand final of the weekend, Gen G would have been in Group A. If FaZe won, which they did, Gen G's in Group D. He was on the fence. He couldn't decide what he wanted to be in. If he wanted to be in Group D, rematching Oxygen, or like being Group A with FaZe, Crew, and G1. But I think everybody's pretty happy with this because we got G1 versus G2, Atomic versus B-Tomic, and Gen G versus Oxygen. So I think the fans are the winners here. Really. But what do you think? How do you think those teams go? Gen G, Oxygen, Complexity in a group. Who do you guys have? This is I might surprise people with how I think this group's gonna go. But what do you guys think's gonna happen? Complexity, Oxygen, Gen G. Do we agree Pioneers don't win a series in that group? Group D.
Correct.
Yeah. I think that's unanimous.
Yeah.
What about 1, 2, 3? Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 3 in Group D?
I'd probably say Complexity. Oh God, I don't know.
This is a 3-way 2-1.
It's impossible.
So
They're all going to lose one series.
I'm calling a 3-way 2-1. I'm calling a 3-way 2-1.
I'm thinking the same.
I think it's gonna happen.
I think Gen G probably take it. I think it's really close between all 3 teams, honestly, and I think people underrate Complexity a little bit, and I think people very slightly overrate Oxygen. I think a lot of people still think they're the second best team in Europe. I think that's Liquid now, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Oxygen's a very good team, but they haven't really shown a whole lot this split, and I think there's a decent chance they're. I think there's a decent chance that they're a little overconfident, but we'll see.
It's actually an important
Complexity
group
first.
You're putting Complexity first.
I think Gen G.
I was
Complexity.
thinking about it.
I think they're winning that group. Just on the fact that when they lose, it's going to 5 as well. Like they're
that's they're really good at.
They're going to get gamed.
Not getting swept, except for this weekend. But we're gonna talk about it.
I think Gen G will win the group because they're going to get a nice series versus KC. Oxygen, Complexity.
Good warm up
war. But is that second round on the same day?
I think it's going to go.
Is it on the same day? I think it'll be on the same day. I've not seen any order of matches, but I'm assuming round 1 and 2 from each group will be on the same day, right? And then round 3 of every group plus round 1 of the next day will probably be on the same day as well. This could be wrong. I might be wrong here, but I'm just guessing that round 1 and 2 will be played in the same day. Now, if that's true, Gen G at Fall they played APAC in round 1, didn't they? They beat them 3-0 if I remember correctly, or they played against a pretty easy team for them. And then they played Oxygen right after, and they got destroyed. They beat Power, got destroyed by Oxygen right after. Now I think Gen G might lose to Cole there because of that. But then I think Gen G gets their revenge on Oxygen. I think they get them this time to make it a 3-way 2-1 tie.
I think it's better for Complexity.
I think
Complexity have that. If whoever wins out of Oxygen Complexity, I think that's an awesome first round matchup for whoever wins that, because then they can get the momentum going into the next series, and then you've still got Pioneers win to come as well. So,
it's really, this is such a hard group to predict. It's crazy because I feel like that when the matches are played makes a big difference. Because if Oxygen can beat Cole, maybe Cole go into Gen G feeling terrible and just get farmed, and then they're in a rough spot. But if Colby, Oxygen, maybe they're going to be fired up for the Gen G match as well. Oh man, it's really hard to say. This is important as well for you, Andy, because if you are shooting for like making it out of Group B, and you think second or third is their most realistic finish for you, then you're going to be playing against either second or third from Group D. So, do you have any preferences there? Do you want to play against teams that you know, like Gen G Complexity, or do you think Oxygen is the one for
I'd
you?
honestly rather take a gamble against Oxygen because we haven't done well against Gen G and Complexity.
Makes sense.
I mean, Oxygen, it's not like we want to play them because we think we'll beat them. I think we could surprise them. And like the other teams know what to expect from us. We know what to expect from them. I'd rather roll the dice. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Also, Rise wrist is going to be a factor. Does he have the sling off, or is he still slung? You know, what kind of Rise wrist are we gonna get? Is he gonna? No, he's just gonna have. He said
probably
last.
braced.
He said the brace is on, but no sling. Last time he said, right?
Oh, he'll be fine then.
He'll be slinging.
Honestly, I mean, I played one of the regionals in a brace as well, and it's not.
Oh, you did? Wait, when was that?
Yeah, I have problems with my hands. It's like carpal tunnel or something along that line. But yeah, I mean, it's really not that restricting playing in just a normal brace. It's slightly uncomfortable, but that's about it. There's no real restriction. It's just a little uncomfortable. It's different in a cast, but braces are fine in my eyes.
Okay. How long has that been a thing for you? How long have you been playing with that out of curiosity?
It's been the last regional of last split, basically. But it's been fine last 4 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah, do you have any stretches? Have you been at physio to like get exercises to do for that?
I wear a brace at night, and I've kind of cut back a little bit on some like the lifting I do, and because that stuff was really straining towards my wrists, and it just wasn't good for me.
What you've been doing? What lifting's been straining the wrist?
Literally everything.
Everything.
Just imagine like in terms of just like grabbing things. It was difficult.
Well, actually, I ask because I have very bad wrist mobility myself, and I had to avoid certain exercises in the gym because of that.
Benching
I
found
found
that you can't. It's
that's what I was gonna say. So yeah, dumbbells are your friend, in my opinion, if you have wrist issues, because dumbbells allow wrist to just your wrist to be where it wants to be. You don't have to like hold a bar in a specific way. So I try to do that personally. I don't have to compete as a pro gamer, but yeah, wrist mobility, sore wrists, and very annoying thing. Very, very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about these other groups here, though? So we talked about Group C, Group of Life, Group B, Group of Death, Group D, impossible to predict. Group A, G2 versus G1. The fans got what they wanted. Atomic from G1, he wanted this as well. I asked him in a post, qualifying to LAN interview, who he wanted to play. He said, I want to play G2 because at Gamers 8, G2 Atomic dodged the 1v1 against me, and this time he can't dodge me.
Atomic's not a one player, so I know why he dodged that.
Yeah, Atomic from G1 is very good. He would have been favored in ones there for sure. But for sure. Atomic from G2 played the 1v1 in the other series that they played before that. And then he let Mist come in and lose to Atomic from G1 because he didn't want to lose the Atomic versus Atomic 1v1.
No, respectable, honestly. Respectable.
Really? You don't think that G2 Atomic should have got in there and proven that he's the better Atomic 1v1?
No, because I think, no disrespect to G1 Atomic, but I think we all know who the best Atomic is. And I don't think I think people would have taken it the wrong way if G1 Atomic won the 1v1, which he probably would have. So I don't know. I don't
think it was clear. I wanted to see it. I don't think it was clear.
I wanted to see it, but I
wanted to see it because I think
respect
G2 Atomic,
the move. I think it was smart from G2 Atomic to not take it.
You think it was smart to like protect his mental? You mean?
Yeah.
I see.
I think there would have been a lot of Twitter messing around of people being like, "Oh, this just proves that G1 Atomic is better." So,
But is it not even worse because he dodged it? I feel like it was even worse. So many people were like, "What? He dodged the 1v1," and it was all over the timeline.
No,
That G2 Atomic dodged it.
also you could just be like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna one, so I decided to let Mist play because he's probably better than me at once or something."
No, he's definitely not though. Definitely not. Mist
Yeah.
Mist is not as good as G2 Atomic at what. G2 Atomic, I think he looked pretty good in ones in the ones he did play. I was like, I've seen him do well in the past as well. Definitely got more of a 1v1 history than Mist. So that was pure dodge. I'm definitely going to call that a pure dodge.
Honestly, I think they thought they were going to lose regardless and just were like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Possibly, yeah.
'Cause
Chicago, Chicago's been grinding ones.
No one on that team is a good ones player, and it's not disrespect to any of them. They just don't play ones. It's that's not their skill set. They would probably lose against any established ones player.
But you said they're G2 Atomic, clearly the best threes player
Yeah.
between G2 Atomic and G1
Yeah.
Atomic. Have you watched much of G1 Atomic and G1 overall? This split, Andy?
A little bit. Honestly, I haven't been too impressed with them. They look really inconsistent, just from watching Tiebreaker and the other some of their other series. I mean, yeah, Marky looked a bit shaky, honestly. Atomic seemed to kind of dictate that style of play. I don't know. I'm not crazy high on G1. I honestly think they'll be fourth in that group. I'm pretty high in Crew.
Really? So you're taking Crew from South America over G1?
You know what? I don't know. I might rescind that statement.
No, double down. I'm not calling you out. I'm just like, telling everybody who you're picking, or who you're picking.
Yeah. Just because you said that, I'll double down. I think Crew's gonna finish third.
Be bold. No one likes a boring prediction. Be bold. I think
G1's a good team when they're on, but I don't. When they're off, I don't think they're very good. They're a very good team when they're on, and I think their highs are high and their lows are low. In my opinion, just from the limited European knowledge that I have. So, yeah, I think they might struggle a little bit at LAN.
G1, they've had a very interesting split, and so have G2 actually, because G2 they've got the third seed because they tied with Complexity in points in North America, and then the tiebreaker for when teams are tied in points is total season points in that instance for when you're like breaking a seed tie. So G2 got third seed, Complexity fourth, both dead even in points for the split. But G2 throughout this entire split have not beaten another major team. They've yet to beat. They haven't beaten Dignitas, Gen.G, FaZe, or Complexity.
I think that's a little bit misleading because they never played us, and I think FaZe and Gen.G are better than them. I think G2 is third or fourth, depending.
But they didn't play them. But meanwhile, you got G1 in Europe who did beat Karmine Corp. Now, some people could put that down to Karmine Corp throwing the group. Yeah, did they just throw the group stage game? Because G1 reverse swept Karmine Corp in regional 2. Solary reverse swept Karmine Corp in regional 3.
I did say G1 has higher highs. They have high highs and low lows. I mean.
They also beat Vitality in the last regional.
Yeah,
and they won a double tiebreaker. They've played well under pressure. Spanish Bim Bam.
Yeah, in no way am I saying they're a bad team. It's just intuition prediction of.
Stop being nice, Andy. Call them bad. Say that they're
I'm
bad.
not gonna do that.
Be mean.
I have a lot of respect for my Sam buddies down there. You know what I mean?
Hey, you probably tried out the whole team, didn't you?
Not Crew, but pretty much everyone else.
He wants to keep his options open. They're gonna try out so many.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. I'm gonna get dropped, and I gotta travel to Sam. You know what I mean?
So yeah, the Crew are the second seed from South America. Did they tiebreak? They did. They tiebroke their way in as well. So G1 and Crew both tiebroke their way in to this group. And they get their reward is G2 and FaZe. Incredible.
Fun.
That's a fun group, though. I really like that group. It might actually be the real group of death, depending on what Falcons do.
I think
if they're actually there.
I think that group is the hardest to get out of. Definitely. I think the lowest floor team is higher than the other team's like lowest team. You know what I mean?
Oh, it depends. I mean, you're probably underrating yourself a little bit there. You know, you guys are
a
definitely
little
up there.
but then again, it's also a factor of vitality, and Falcons are question marks in my mind. And
Hmm.
if you go over to Group A, though, if you put us in Group A instead of G1, or I guess instead of Crew, I'd be more worried because
Well,
I think I'd be playing a little bit more established teams. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
in Group B, which we're in, I believe B isn't it?
Yep.
Is that correct? There's one team that I think is incredibly hard to beat online. That's Carmine. But in Group A, I think there's two teams that are incredibly hard to beat online. And that's G2 and FaZe.
Hmm.
Especially FaZe, they look on top of the world right now. I mean, in my eyes, they're easily the best team coming into the major. They're most on form. They look incredible, and they've always done well on LAN, especially against international rosters. They've struggled against the North American rosters, but they've always done well against the like the European squads. So I think FaZe should be the favorites heading into the tournament, honestly.
Is that still true though? Because I know FaZe, they had that about them because I think they 3-0 EU teams at the very first LAN, the fall major last season. Pretty sure they
In
were
my-
like,
in
they
my
yeah,
were
opinion,
everyone was
one
saying
NA
they
team.
could be beat.
Yeah, everyone's saying, FaZe
Sure.
made the final. They would have beaten
Well,
BDS. They're really good against
the
EU
only
teams.
the only thing I remember from that is that they never lost to BDS and everyone else did basically. And
Yeah,
um,
true statement.
I could be slightly wrong with that because I believe they lost to Moist when Moist won the major, or if they made the final.
No, so what happened after that is FaZe, they lost to Team Queso twice at the Winter
Yeah, yeah.
Major. That was the only matches that they played at EU, apart from beating Endpoint again, beating BDS again. They beat BDS and
Yeah.
Endpoint two regional or two majors in a row. Then they lost to Queso twice.
That case,
And
the
then
team was
they
just a
lost
different
to-
animal, honestly.
Yeah, they lost to Falcons and Furia actually for the next. They didn't play EU at all at the Spring Major.
Oh, I forgot about Falcons.
So they
Yeah,
kind of
they
like
did
had
quite
a.
well, didn't they?
Yeah, so they did good
Yeah.
against everybody except that one Queso, beating them 2 times.
I mean
the
that
same
that
event.
Queso team was ridiculous.
Mhm.
I don't know how that I truthfully don't know how they lost in the North American LAN and at Worlds. I thought they were surely going to win Worlds.
Insane series of the tournament against Furia
Yeah,
there.
Furia.
Yeah, insane.
I thought Moist had it in the bag. Like just that whole tournament, I'm like, I don't see Moist losing. I just don't see it.
Mhm.
And Yan had something to say about it. So
I don't know. I think like the story of FaZe do well against EU is kind of old though, because that's true
it
of
is a
Fall
little
Major.
old,
They
but
went 3-0 at
they-
Fall Major last season. Then they went 2-2
guess.
at Winter Major. Then they didn't play EU at all at Spring. Didn't play EU at all at Worlds. Then what did they do at Fall Major this time around? They like lost to Moist, beat Team Liquid. Then they lost, and then they beat Oxygen, so they're 2-1. Yeah, I think it's close.
Even if it's a little old, like they still only really lost to Moist from Europe, and that's not a team anymore. So, you
But they
never
didn't
know.
play anyone. They also didn't play any
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
They
So-
played no one at Spring, no one at
So
Worlds.
it's unproven in the fact that they used to be good against European teams except Moist, but I mean now we don't really know. So they haven't been proven wrong, I guess is what I'm saying.
I would love to see them. Oh man, we need to see Carmine Corp against one of the top
That would
two.
be great.
Like,
I'm excited.
how
to
did we
watch
not see that?
hopefully.
No Carmine Corp versus Genji, no Carmine Corp versus FaZe is a crime against humanity.
I need to see Karma and Jinji. Chronic talks about it all the time. I talk to him a lot, and he's like, I just need to play them at least soon, just to see, because they have huge I think they have a huge behind the scenes rivalry. It's not anything malicious or anything, but I know when Carmine won, Genji was like, we need to win this regional, and it's same when
Really?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. They were like, we need to prove that we're just as good, if not better than them. And I think that's valid. I think that's real healthy, honestly. That's good competition.
Hmm. Well, I would love to see it.
If nobody can compete against you in your own region, might as well look at the other ones, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So what do you think happened to Genji? They've lost two events in a row now. Lost to FaZe twice. What do you think's going on there with Genji? They were unbeatable, and now it looks like FaZe might have figured them out.
I just think FaZe is the best team in the world right now. They just look unbeatable. And Gen G, I think they're still right there. I think it's hard. I think it's especially hard a little bit for Gen G dealing with losses because they started at the top. You know how I mentioned earlier that Drees started out at the top and it was hard for him dealing with losing and hard for him dealing with like lower expectations. But with Gen G, they finished like second and first so many times already this season where anything lower than that is just failure. So, especially now after they got 8th, I believe, at the most recent event. It's hard on them. And I've talked to all the guys, Jack, Nolly, Chronic, and it's strange because you would think it would just be like, oh yeah, they got top 2. Oh, they only got top 8, but they won a bunch of other regionals and won the major. You should be happy, but that's not how it works in reality. Everyone has different expectations. It's kind of it's hard to kind of figure out where the mentality lies there, but it's tough starting at the top and then losing because your expectations are so high. And no matter what it is relative to other teams, if you don't meet your expectations, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be upset. So,
yeah,
I think it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. I think they will, of course. But yeah, I think it's a new challenge for them. And so far, they've done well at passing all the challenges they've had. So I can see them bouncing back and being.
It's kind of crazy
fine.
in regionals and major combined. FaZe and Gen G are 4 wins each on each other. FaZe beat them twice in Fall Open first split, then Gen G beat them twice at the Cup and the Invitational, then they beat them 2 more times at the Fall Major, Swiss and Bracket. So they had a 4-win streak on them, and now FaZe have a 2-win streak on Gen G. I've got to think like a lot of that is like, see, one thing that I think it was First Killer said in the interview after beating Gen G. They interviewed him live on RLCS. I was listening in to as much as I could about that. And he said, if I recall, that when they were losing to Gen G, they were just afraid of them for no reason. Did I get that right, Chad? I'm pretty sure he said that they were just afraid of them for no reason. And I don't think that's disrespect from First Killer to say that. I don't think he's calling Gen G like a bad team.
No,
I think he's just trying to point out that they were playing overly scared, and you shouldn't give any team that much respect. You shouldn't be afraid of any team to the degree that they were afraid of Gen G. Every time someone from Gen G is up, they're just panicking for no reason. It seems like they're a lot just more calm.
All the time. Yeah.
And also, I feel like they're not like, you know, I feel like this is to make this an analogy that every Rocket League player can relate to. You know, when you see somebody go for a play in any Rocket League game, ranked, tournament, whatever, RLCS, and you're like, I don't think he's got that. You just go for the ball. You're like, nah, I don't believe him. You know, I just don't believe that he's actually got that ball under control. I'm just going to go. Like, everybody's probably thought about that at any level of Rocket League. I think that's kind of what FaZe are doing to Gen G now. They're like, I just don't believe that you're going to do something with that. I'm just going to challenge you because why not? Whereas before, they're probably thinking, it's Gen G. That has to be good. I've got to respect that too much. And now they're just much better mentally.
It's a very common tactic that coaches use to prep against teams. They say, like, look, this team does really well when you give them space. Don't give them any respect. It's not an ego thing. It's just that's how you need to play against some teams. You just don't give them any respect. You challenge them early, stuff like that. It's not any sort of disrespect to that team. It's just how you got to play sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, you know, Jack said it about FaZe, but I made the argument. Well, I guess I threw it out to the cast that I think the best players in the world, or the most mechanical, you know, let's try out like a Dan, like a First Killer, are elevated or made even better by the fact that everyone respects them so much and thinks they're always going to hit the psycho, always going to hit the skim, like, and I think the best players, which is counterproductive, they get more time on the ball than the you know, players below them, because everyone just expects them to be able to hit, like, oh, he's going to hit a double flip reset right now, and just everyone's so scared.
Yeah, I think that's a prime example of how V1 play and how a little bit of kind of how we prep against them is that we don't give Beast Mode any respect. Even though he's this incredible player, is that the more space you give him, the more opportunities you give him, it's going to cost you. So game plan usually is just to kind of limit what he's able to do, and sometimes that's just treat him like he's this, I don't know, this bubble player or something that you can just instant challenge and get away with it. So
Which is like it's the same why, you know, teams that or players that maybe, you know, start performing a little bit worse, or teams that start getting beaten a little bit, it almost like snowballs onto it by the fact that teams go, hang on a minute, like this player's actually not that good, we can just challenge him. Or hang on a minute, this team actually isn't that fast, like if we just play our way. And then everyone, you know, I guess that's the figure them out meta. People actually just start going, well, hang on a minute, if we just do this, like this person actually isn't crazy, or this team isn't, you know, they're unbeatable, we can just, you know, play our way every time or play with confidence. And then I guess the team that was in a rut then loses even more because, you know, it is just figure them out meta. I'm on it. I'm on board.
No, wait,
figure out how to play.
Do you
with
think
confidence.
it's actually so figuring out meta? I find it kind of funny.
It's like confidence meta.
Yeah, but is it so really maybe some team does this, I don't know, but do you think every team's coming in here with like a note? I remember I used to watch League of Legends and the coaches had a notepad like about for every like pick and ban.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you know, going through notes. There's no shot that that's actually happening with top tier Rocket League. I just don't believe it. The threes is just not that deep. No, maybe it is, but I don't think it's necessary.
It's little
I really
things though.
don't. There's no way there's no way that there's like a massive change for every team. It just isn't. It's so similar. It's just so similar every game.
I mean, it can be, you know, certain things like this team is a lot more susceptible to demos, you know, stuff like that. It's not going to be like you don't play the exact same every time against every team. You do play different depending on who you're playing to some degree. You know, you adjust little things.
Yeah.
But I agree, it's not massive League of Legends chats.
I feel like FaZe, they talk about that. They've figured out a winning strategy against NG, but to me it sounds like their confidence. They found a way to be confident, and it's kind of what Andy's saying. Just don't respect them too much. That seems like what's really turned it around in their favor. Like when I watch those games, it doesn't really look like they're, you know, coming at them with a completely other like worldly style. I don't see it. But Roldes did say I think he said on First Touch that they're trying to be more like, you know, EU teams, team play, passing, using more team plays, not necessarily just passing, but other ways to, you know, incorporate team plays as well. Did he say that? I'm pretty sure he said something like that.
Interesting.
It was during the whole like, you know, T-Bait said BDS didn't use team plays, and then everybody lost their minds. It's like segment. That happened a couple of weeks ago. It was very good stuff. Good content. Andy doesn't want to leak anything, of course. So.
Andy, you brought up with like, say like V1, for example, with Beast Mode, how... Sorry.
Rizzo, compose yourself.
No, I just read my chat again. I just gotta look the other way. But like you brought up how like with Beast Mode, you know, you try to not give him as much respect because he's such a good player. Are there players like within the RLCS that you're just like, oh, you know, we can give him the ball. You know, he's not gonna do anything with it.
Don't do this to me. Come on.
I'm not saying you have to name the players. I'm just saying, like, is it a thing?
Yes, it is. It's not a matter of, oh, this player's bad, so they're not going to do anything with the ball. It's just certain players have certain roles on certain teams that don't require them to be mechanical, and that's normal. I mean, I'm one of those roles. I don't have to be mechanical. That's not my job. My job is to fill in the gaps and make sure my teammates are the best versions of themselves. So yeah, I mean, yes, that does happen.
I mean, he basically said it. He said when they're playing V1, they're just going to instant challenge Beast Mode, which means that when Torment and Com are going for a solo play, they're going this. There's no way that they're going to hit a flip reset.
I mean, I did hear that as well. You see him going for the double, you're like, just let him have it. Like, we're good. Just going back for it. We'll catch it.
You see Torment this weekend? Torment was on one. I don't know.
I saw a nice top riders from him. That was crazy.
He did top bins.
I was panicking because I thought he was going to take my major spot because he was hitting backward redirects on 0 seconds.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one, too.
That was a great goal, actually. Yeah, that was a really good goal.
I was terrified.
Okay,
yeah,
so I also wanted to bring up, because we probably have like 15, 20 minutes left here. you brought up like expectations, Andy, like expectations going into the major, expectations going into the regionals, the split, all this stuff. You've been competing for a really long time, probably like 6 years. I'm just looking at your Wikipedia, like 6 years since 2017 was your first team.
No,
that doesn't count.
I'm 18, Rizzo.
Right. I'm not saying you competed in RLCS, but you definitely competed on a team in 2017.
Yeah, that team was like diamond.
Okay. So I guess we don't count that.
It's got a Wikipedia page.
So we're not counting that one.
So let's say, 3-4 years. But you've been competing for a really long time. You've been playing in the bubble. You've been fighting through it essentially. You know, you've come.
I'll give you 4 years. I'll give you 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. You've come from the absolute.
Yes, when he was 12.
You've come from the absolute gutter. And you came
these
up
casters
on top,
are like, oh, Andy, you've been competing for 5-6 years now, and I'm like, no, man.
Oh, no.
Okay, how long?
I'm 18.
Incoming
How long have you been serious about competing?
Probably since I was 14, I guess. So about 4 years.
4
I'd
years,
say.
got it.
4.5, because I'm close to turning 19.
All I'm saying is Team Sway White was formed in 2017, but all good.
We were cooking.
But regardless, tell me about like the whole experience of like literally grinding from the very bottom and getting to where you are today. Like you finally made it to a major. I'm sure that's what you've been. You know, I mean, before when you were playing, it was probably like you're trying to make worlds, but you know, you finally made it. How is that like as a reflection of your whole time playing competitively?
It's definitely a little bit surreal because nowadays you don't really see a lot of teams like that anymore. Nowadays it's, oh, if you're this young prodigy, you're going to get picked up when you're 15 and automatically be this really, really good player, like we're about to see with Zen and Beast Mode and Daniel and all these real young mechanical players. You can even slot like Seiko in there because he was banned, and they've all done really well at the gate. And I think there's a lot of things to say about the players who aren't these mechanical prodigies and aren't just instantly shoved into RLCS. It takes a lot of work, a lot of perseverance to stay in that 16 to 8 range for multiple years and still keep going. You know what I mean? Because it gets tiring being mediocre. I know that from experience.
You could tell me that again.
Yeah, I mean, you can only take so much 9 through 12s. I mean, last season, I'm pretty sure out of the 9 regionals, I finished 9 through 12 in 7 of them. Season before, it was 8 of them. It was like, it's rough. So, I mean, it's real nice to kind of break through at least a little bit. Not necessarily at that top level, but right there with them. So.
Right. You brought up the like perseverance. Was there ever a time where you thought like, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe this is a bit too much.
Honestly, for me, no. I've never had a moment where I felt like I wanted to quit the game. That's just me personally. I just never think of it because I've always been getting paid. It's a big thing with. I've always been supported by orgs. If I wasn't, maybe things would be different. But yeah, I've always thought of it as something that's going to be my profession. So I was always going to stick out with it, even if I was having some rough patches where I'm finishing, I don't know, 12th for a season.
Are you still in school or studying at the same time?
Yeah. I go to college currently, and up until about a year ago now, I played soccer full time. I played for the last 15 years, and I played club in high school at pretty much the highest level in America, and I was still able to play RLCS. So I'm really proud of myself for that. That the time commitment was at an all-time high. So
you think that in a football, aka soccer, NA versus EU match, you could carry?
In NA, I would probably
NA versus EU. Yeah,
it depends who all plays because there's some like bubble-ish players in NA that are ridiculous.
It would have to be players at LANs because that's the only way to make it happen.
I don't know because honestly, I don't know who all plays. I know there's a few European players that went to these academies in Europe with the Premier League, but that's kind of standard down there. I feel like
They're Mickey Mouse Academies, I'll say it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think those are
True.
often overrated a little bit, but I mean, I think NA. It's honestly, I don't know if we would win, but we'd probably.
But you're
keep
gonna
it
put
fairly
up some
close.
impressive stats. Like you're gonna get a good
I'd
rating.
hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know who's like all good, but I'd hope.
What position do you play? I'm gonna
I'm-
guess you're a big central midfielder.
For the first about 11, 12 years of my soccer career, I played center mid, and then I branched out to right wing because I'm a bit of a pace merchant now. So
You're a speed merchant.
yeah.
What? How fast? How do you know how fast?
How
you can run?
fast?
Like I don't know. What do you do?
fast are
Like
you talking?
you've got all
Like
these
40?
random like. I don't know because like NA's got all these random like distances, like dashes or whatever. I'm like
40 yard.
and we don't
The
do
last
any of that
40
right here. We just do 100 meters.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know what that
the
is.
last 40 meter I did was I think a 4.55, which is quite.
Chat,
good,
is that
I'd
good?
say.
I don't know what that is.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds very good, but I
It's
don't
fair-
know
it's-
if that's.
40 yards,
I
2
pride
meters.
myself
Chat
on my
likes that
speed
a lot.
so-
Wow, look at this. Do you know what you can run 100 meters? Because that's like the
I-
European
I
metric.
don't, but I could almost guarantee I'd beat any Rocket League player. Like, just like
Even
just like that.
Fireburner, did you see what he did
Even
to Sis?
I don't know about Sis and Fireburner. They got one up on me, but
Well, the
I
challenge
think,
is
I think
based
any,
on if any
if
Rocket League
anybody
pro-
that currently plays can beat me, I'd pay them some. I mean,
Oh, it's happening, right? We've got the challenges out there. Rocket League pros or people who think
In
they
a
can beat
100
Andy in a
meter-
race.
in a 100
money on
meter,
it.
yeah. There,
Boston's
I'd put
got
money.
So you're saying
Yeah.
you got top
You know,
speed then, not as much.
I'd put money racing Boston long distance. Short distance, no, but like in a 200 meter, I'd bet.
What about
I'll bet
100
myself.
meters, like the big one? You know, what
100
everybody
meter,
cares
I
about?
think it would be pretty close. Me and him did a little bit of testing down in Philly, and it was
Testing.
Okay.
pretty close.
Oh,
Probably
wait, that's
okay.
content. Why haven't you made a video yet about
Yeah,
this?
this is
Well,
incredible. Why
he-
this should be out there?
Well, he said he wouldn't be able to go full out yet because he's got some knee shots he had to do for like maintenance.
Well,
for
now
the
he
NFL, but-
doesn't. It's off season.
No,
He's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's healing.
He's doing it now, so maybe we'll see it in San Diego, but we couldn't really do much in Philly.
He's
But
ducking you, bro.
if for 40, he'd probably dust me by I don't know, a tenth, 2/10 of a second. And then it is a dust.
Charlie
It doesn't
Boston
sound
Scott
like
did
a
four
dust.
Yeah,
point four,
getting
and I
dusted
did
by 2/10 of a
4.5.
second doesn't sound too bad.
It's a dust. It's a dust. But
Wait,
Oh
so-
yeah, because it sounds like small, but in a like short race like that, it's quite
yeah,
a lot.
no,
Yeah,
it's a big
in
difference.
a 100
like-
meter, I think it would be a little bit closer because I think I'd take a little bit to get up to speed. But
Do you have a 100-meter time or not?
no. The last metrics I'm using were in my high school soccer tryouts. So
We need to get like before we need to you get to a track,
which could be
record a 100 meter
wildly
PB,
off. So I
Get a 100 meter PB out there, so you know Rocket League people know if they should be challenging you in a race for money
we'll see.
at the lad.
We boot camp in LA, so we might do it then. So we'll see.
That sounds like
Is
content.
that-
Actually, Dig did that before. They
'Cause
did that in like
I was a big
fall.
runner
Yeah.
too before I played, or well, while I was playing soccer on cross country. I was a
That's
decent
pain.
long distance runner, but I wasn't amazing at long distance. I've always been better at longer distance sprints, like 100, 200, 400. I was always good at those.
So is that how you do your hair in the morning? You just go outside and run a quick 40-yarder, and
All
then
right.
you
So you want to know the hair secret?
yeah,
So-
yeah.
You go and do a
It's-
40 shot.
It's a lot simpler than it sounds.
There's no way.
You go a little dot of it's called shaping cream. Find it on Google, and
Did you
just
say shaving cream or champing cream?
that's what you
I thought
do.
you were
Shape-
gonna say like, just
shaping.
go for. I thought
Shaping.
you
Oh,
were
Shaving, not
shaping
shaving.
cream.
That's what you do. You just go like this, and then just kind of play with it a little bit, and it just.
So it's
genuinely-
really genetics then. It's not. It's not.
My hair is naturally very thick, and it holds. There was a point in time. There was a point in
Can
time
I see
where
the
didn't
headset
use-
then? I feel like this would be epic.
Yeah,
Oh,
the dead set head. Gonna be
How's
huge.
it done?
Actually, it's not too bad.
Oh,
Oh wait, it's
whoa,
pretty.
hold on.
Oh,
Pretty
whoa, hang on, Paul, let's go.
Wait,
Hang on, let's get
give
another
us
angle back.
the
Look at
full
that slide
side
on.
view.
Full side view.
Side view.
Yeah, perfect 90-degree.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
decent.
Respect.
Yeah, it looks
Solid
like
dent?
Grand Canyon. Yeah.
It's a good dent.
Does
Solid
anyone else
dent?
have a dent in their actual head though? Because I definitely have a head, not just hair dent, but I have a dent in my
I have
head.
a head dent. I look
100%.
like Tyler. If I went bald, I would look like Tyler one.
100%.
Oh, no.
I have a dent in my head.
A T1 dent.
Yeah.
Evo had a
Oh.
crazy dent this weekend. With,
It's hidden,
with his hair.
hidden by hair, but I have a head dent. It's like, yeah, not good news. It's really not.
It
good
also makes it more comfortable wearing a headset though, because it just goes straight
news.
in
It
that
just goes
spot
right in
every
there. Yeah.
time. It just fits.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect. I actually was the only person who thought that Andy was about to say, so how I do my hair is just fresh out the shower, just go and run, and it gets it
Oh,
like, up in the air. I thought that's what you were going to say,
As
genuinely.
I said,
Just go
quick
straight out
40-yard
there.
dash.
Yeah, just do a
I-
quick like lap
I
around the
live in
house. And
I live in
boom, done.
Wisconsin. Do you think I have the facilities to just run outside all the time? It's so cold.
Ah, wait, it's just cold. Okay, I didn't know where that was going. I know
Andy,
Wisconsin
I've
is like
just- so
up there.
cold.
That's all I know.
I've just checked Twitter, and Fish has tweeted average RLCS regional champion. How much would you say that Fish is implementing or having an impact on your team?
Oh, Fisher's great. I love Fisher. I mean, he's always there. He was there almost the whole boot camp. Other than I think after we lost, I guess he was there until Friday. But yeah, I mean he's great to have around. He's definitely a big personality. I love having him around. He's a good guy. Lightens up the mood. But yeah, he's great to have with us. His presence is similar to Boston's, where he's always just constantly hyping you up, and Boston does a lot for the team too. He does a lot of pep talking and you guys got this, no matter what. I'm rocking with you and all that. So they're just great to have around, especially on a young team, the youngest team in NA. Direct approved. It helps, especially with the maturing of Evo and Dries, to kind of have two people there to kind of guide him alongside me and Nick. So
How does Fisher work for Dig whilst coaching a directly competing org or team in
don't
SSA?
ask me, man. I have no idea how that works.
Psionics should
Yeah.
listen to this. Like, wait, what?
He competed in NA quals too.
Hold on,
So
Respect.
yeah, truthfully, no idea, because he's not. I mean, he's not rostered on our team. He's a social media
Yeah.
manager for our team, so he's not rostered. So that might have something to do with it. I'm pretty sure Dig is fine because I don't. Are they on an org? His team.
I don't know.
So
I think so.
you know
I
what?
want
I
a
think
regional.
they are. I think they are too. So I have no idea. Obviously, Dig are okay with it if it's happening, because there's no reason he'd be competing for multiple orgs at the same time. So
And
No, it's Team Twitter. No, we're talking about he coaches an
No,
SSA team called
he-
Nixa, who isn't all.
Fisher is a regional champion.
not Team Twitter.
So
He's got. Does he
No.
have a tag?
he will.
Yeah, he's got a.
Yeah.
He will have
He
one.
will.
A regional
Oh my
champ. tag.
days. That's hilarious.
Andy, I got a question for you. I'm going to loop back a little
up?
bit here about the 40-yarder or maybe 100-meter. If there was like a I don't know, 8 to 16 team, maybe single limb bracket, or I guess you could just do fastest time. You don't really need to do a bracket, but like
bracket.
fastest time for like a race at the LAN. Would you be interested in doing something like that?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love how you went straight to a bracket. You forgot that there's a very easy way
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do
There's
this.
a much easier way.
Yeah.
We don't need to make people run
As
7 times.
as long as I got multiple attempts, so I didn't make a fool out of myself.
Yeah.
I
We
would
could have an
Yeah, I think-
8-person
I think
race
it'd
or
be
8 1v1s.
Yeah.
So let's do a group format.
You know what?
Let's
Honestly,
look at it.
8-1v1s would be great, but I think people would get tired. But we'll see.
Like,
So
why
did you
are
see
they
Dignitas
still
did
running?
that? Dignitas did that at the fall major. They had Joria's
Yeah,
Scrub and Jack race. Were you
I
watching
do.
that?
I do think there should
critiquing
be
the
some
race.
content around either a football match or a basketball match. I
Football
think.
match is risky. I don't know about basketball. I've not really played basketball since like high school, which is a long time ago. But football is risky because
That's right.
injuries could
Same with
absolutely
basketball.
happen. Is
Guard
basketball like
fingers.
as like
Well,
risky
fingers,
for
No,
injuries?
it's easier to get injured in football, but
Oh, by far, especially when it gets
well,
competitive, it can definitely be bad injuries.
the
No,
highest
no, I feel like
at the highest level, it's different, but when you're
In a-
just playing
in a,
pickup
like, yeah,
basketball.
best
When
of
playing
game.
pickup basketball, it's difficult.
Well, hang on a minute.
Yeah,
In
like,
terms
if
of
you're playing
esports,
lazy,
though,
if you're playing lazy basketball, like nobody's actually sweating, like it's kind
No,
of near
even
impossible
just
to get injured and like
Even
in
just
a lazy
normal
pickup
like
game.
speed,
Uh-huh.
normal speed basketball when it's not super competitive, no one's gonna get injured unless
No one
they're
injured.
going.
So that's a bit of a safer one. Plus, NA will win, so that's great because someone.
well, I think
No,
there's
NA
a
should
more
win.
Sideline.
NA
there's
should
more
sweep
chance of
basketball,
injury
come
with
on.
football, but you're not gonna. It's pretty hard to break your finger whilst kicking a ball. Like you
No,
might
because
break a
CJ,
leg.
what happens in
Rise
football? I've
got
seen it a
injured, playing
million
football, just
times.
saying.
I've seen it so
Well,
many
if you're
times in
goalie,
football.
obviously.
Somebody
Yeah.
gets embarrassed, somebody gets nutmegged, and then they just turn around and 2-foot someone from
No,
behind.
no,
It's like it's an automatic reaction, and then
Yeah,
that
you can
person
still play
who's
with
got
a broken
2-foot
leg, though.
tackle
Give him a red
could fall
card.
and break their
Give him a
arm or
red card.
something.
Can't play at the major.
No, guaranteed.
Yeah,
that's
you'd
gonna happen.
fall
Somebody's
you'd
gonna
fall
get
a lot
legged.
more in football, just in general. Like somebody could
Yeah.
just like lazily try to get the ball from you, and you could trip on their leg, and like that could hurt you.
I don't know. I don't
You guys are
personally
wild.
think
The
it's
amount of
something
time
to
I
do,
used to
but-
play football really regularly, just 5-a-sides, and it was
Yeah.
not supposed to be that serious. Doesn't matter. We agree, not that big of a deal. No one's even like supposed to keep score. We don't care. We're just trying to like make the teams fair. Nah, doesn't happen. Everybody just becomes animals.
Soft.
I've seen so many people break bones, twist ankles, like these games where no one's supposed to care. We agree that no one's supposed to care, and people are just 2-foot tackling on like AstroTurf. Like, what are you doing?
That's different. Truthfully, I don't think any sort of Rocket League event would be anywhere close to like that. But
So-
I don't know. I
Tweaks
think
their own,
I
I
think it's
mean,
happening.
as somebody who's played football for 15 or so years,
you don't
it's-
understand how violent football is in Europe. It is ridiculous.
In
Like,
Europe, it
even
might be a little different.
Sunday leagues, like even friends having a little kickabout at the power league. It is so violent for no reason. Like if you nutmeg someone, like an EU
But,
player in football.
turn around, 2-foot stunts
Run.
up, Brexit
Run.
This is
tackle.
wild.
Yeah, like Archie in chat, he's saying someone's like, yeah, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
nutmegged Archie, he's definitely gonna 2-foot
You,
tackle
you
from
can't,
behind.
but you can't say
Guaranteed.
that football is like a brutal sport. Like, come on, let's compare. Let's
I'm just
level.
saying I've seen so many injuries that could have easily been. I think people, the risk
I
is
don't-
there. The risk
I
is
don't
there.
think that should hold people back personally, but that to each their own. So
I don't know. I
Even-
feel like
I
someone's
would play
getting injured.
personally. I would play 100%, but I
yeah,
wouldn't
even if
be
you're
worried
playing like
about
the
injury.
supposedly like casual football match, I feel like it's very hard to be casual in football in general.
Like, I guess,
Mhm.
but there's certain certain things that
Like-
just you don't do when like you don't studs up, you don't.
You're not
slide
supposed to
tackle
like
from
slide tackle at
behind.
all.
I mean,
You're not
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
you don't
ever
slide
fall
in like
over.
casual settings in football.
Yeah, you're not
It
supposed
should
to.
be hard unless it's a non-contact thing. You shouldn't be getting really injured in a setting like that.
I've seen
in my
like
eyes.
people. Oh my! The amount of like times I've seen somebody getting shoulder barged into like a fence. And I'm like, oh come on.
That's
Like,
that's
so not
different.
fair.
Like,
That's like how people can like. I've seen somebody like nearly have a near miss of breaking their collarbone on the post because somebody like just absolutely shoulder barged them and he like stumbled and he
I don't know what
missed,
you're
like,
playing
the-
with, huh?
No, he missed like the
Yeah.
post was here coming in and he like dodged it hitting his head, hit his like shoulder. I swear if that's like a little bit more to the left, broken collarbone. Like,
yeah, most
yeah,
casual Scottish footy game. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just say
I guess, I mean-
European football in Europe is like a war. It's a war.
You guys need to play
Any
some Aussie
level.
rules football and just get absolutely educated. It is disgusting hearing you talking about running into a post. Like,
No,
come
somebody got like he was on the ball and then somebody bigger than him just like shoulder barged him and he stumbled, almost broke his collarbone by like he whacked the post. There was the noise. I was like, oh, that's bad because like
Sounds
when he
like
fell
he's
on
hit
the post,
gym,
I was
don't
like,
know.
oh boy, that's bad. That's right on the collarbone, but he didn't break it. It was like on his shoulder. Luckily, he was in pain though. He was really pain.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a football match, but
After the event, let's go.
yeah, if
Injuries.
if people don't want to do
Who
it,
cares?
then whatever. But I'd 100% run it after.
I'm just saying there's risk. People would definitely want to do it, but there's definitely
yeah.
risk involved in that. In my
if
opinion,
if there were waivers signed, I don't know.
Waivers?
Waivers.
CJ, where are you linking?
No,
here?
'cause,
on.
like,
Just link some Australian rules football. If you guys want to get educated, this is what I played my whole life. And you guys talk about soccer, kicking the ball around.
Oh no, I know
yeah.
this. Yeah. Now this is bad.
This is
This
no.
is
We don't wear
bad.
any. We wear a mouth guard and that's it. You know, actually most people
Can
don't
you
even wear a
like
mouth guard.
tackle in the neck or
Yeah.
the head in AFL?
No,
That-
high. It's a free kick, but people like you still.
It's a foul, but it
like,
still
it's
happens.
non-con-
Yeah,
yeah.
got it. Yeah. Now this is brutal. This is absolutely brutal.
Oh yeah, I've seen highlights.
So this is big in AFL's big in
It's
Australia.
the biggest sport in Australia. Yeah, we
Biggest
get
sport in
like
Australia.
100. We get 100,000 people to the grand final game. It's actually
my
the
goodness.
crowds are
That's-
massive.
This is bigger than rugby in Australia because Australia's pretty good
Yeah.
at rugby as well. That's
It's
mad.
easily.
Is it like that in New Zealand? Probably not rugby.
No,
rugby
this is just
number one in New
AFL.
Zealand.
This is Australian only. This is our sport. It's just AFL.
But yeah,
Built by
AFL
the
for people who
indigenous.
can't click the link, what CJ's linked is just essentially, you know, if you're, I guess
Google-
it's most similar to NFL in America, but
With
like
no
no
protective.
ads and yeah, no breaks. It's just constant. Everybody's running into each other, elbowing each other in the head. It's yeah, it looks dangerous.
Dead sport, mate. Archie, come on. You can't say that.
I don't know. It looks
That's-
pretty fun. It looks pretty fun.
That's the one bad argument for football or soccer is calling other sports dead when you can have a 0 or 90-minute clash.
I just watched the first clip of that video you sent.
Yeah, and he's out. That
He
guy
is
is
out.
out.
That guy might be gone. I'm not gonna
He
lie.
is
No,
actually just.
he kept playing.
He is a
He
piece
just
of wood
got
now.
up.
He's a board. He's not a human
just
anymore.
took a rump to the face, running the other direction. As well.
Yeah, it's like Irish Gaelic football. That's true. That's pretty brutal as well.
There's some pretty brutal sports. They're just massive in certain countries. Have you seen shinty before? Like hockey, but you can actually swing it about wherever you want.
Oh my
essentially.
god, no! I've
Yeah,
not
it's like
seen
hockey,
that.
but you can go for out of the air volleys. Yeah, shinty's ridiculous. It's massive in Ireland, and is it hurling as well as another? Is that similar or another name for it? That's a brutal sport. Some of the like head injuries I've seen where people just get whacked in the head by a massive like hockey stick. Essentially, yeah, I don't know. People are playing that when I was in school. I was like, not for me. That does not look fun.
All right, well, I think now's about the time to wrap up. If you guys have any closing thoughts or anything else maybe we didn't touch on, now would be the time.
I wanted
Yeah,
to just again congratulate Andy on getting in. And
Massive.
usually when a team outside of the top teams in NA does something like this, like there's Optic did it, Drees did it with Optic, and everybody is calling it a Mickey run. But you guys have done it, and no question of a Mickey run because you literally beat Space Station. So good job of not only making it, but you're
Beating the
convincing
Mickey run
everyone
allegation.
that it's you've
That you've
convinced
earned it.
everybody that it is you're a top 5 team, which is crazy. More stacked NA than ever. You've made a top 5, so I just want to say congratulations.
Yeah,
Super
appreciate it.
excited for you. You've worked so hard over the years. You deserve it.
Thank you, man. And
Wow.
see you guys all in San Diego, so that should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. Johnny is such a way with words. And with that, we're going to be ending Shotcast number 32. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you guys missed any portion of this podcast, you can check it out on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I will tweet out the links shortly after this ends. But yeah, thank you so much to Andy for joining us tonight. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.